Before I begin this week's vlog, I want to talk about the vlog I did 2 weeks ago about my skin cancer. It's come to my attention that I might have unintentionally misled people to believe that I was going to lose all of my hair. Well, the good news is that I will not. I do not have to have any further treatment than what I've had. What I was referring to was a very large area right up here that had to be shaved for the surgery, and it is about the size of a deck of cards, and it's right here. And so that was pretty devastating whenever I took the bandage off and I saw myself, and I took a photo, and I've looked at that photo a few times, and I finally realized I look like Bozo the Clown. And if you're old enough, like me, to know who Bozo the Clown is, you know what I'm talking about. If not, look him up online, you'll find a picture. But that's kind of what it looked like. And it is growing back. It's going to take probably 4 to 6 months, and I don't know what that's going to be like, because eventually it may be sticking straight up, and we'll see. It's not a huge deal now, but at the moment, when I was completely bald in that large area right there at the front of my hairline, it was kind of upsetting. It really was. And so that's why I was just honest, and I talked about my loss and how I was grieving that. And so I want to apologize if I did mislead anyone. I did not intend to. And so it's all good now. Now for this week's vlog, I want to talk about just the facts, ma'am. Does anybody recognize that phrase? It's from that old TV show Dragnet from back in the 50s, which I'm kind of giving away my age. But, there was a character in the show, and he always said, "Just the facts, ma'am." And that's what I want to do today. I went through clinical depression in 2014, and I wrote a book about it. It's called He Enriched My Life by the Death I Suffered, Learning to Trust God Through Depression. And today I just want to talk about some depression facts. I don't know if you realize this, but depression affects 29 million Americans, which is about 9% of our population. So almost 1 in 10 people suffer from depression at some time in their life. I wonder if that surprises you, if that's a higher number than you would have expected. I know it was for me the first time I realized that. Also, there's a study from the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics from 2016 that says that the suicide rate from depression is the highest in the United States in the last 3 decades, and that it is up 24% from 1999 to 2014. And in middle-aged women, the group I belong to, suicide is up 60%. Isn't that sadly incredible? I mean, those numbers are just devastating. Well, there was another study done of 50,000 depressed people worldwide, and that study found that in the higher income countries like the United States, 1 in 5 depressed people receive the minimum amount of treatment. And in lower income countries, it's only 1 in 27 receive the minimal amount of treatment they need. So I think, first of all, we need some education. There needs to be more awareness of depression, and that's what I try to do. That's what I'm trying to do with my book. That's what I'm trying to do with Living Hope, is to make people aware. So if you know of someone that you suspect is suffering from depression, or it may be even yourself, what do you do? Well, first of all, you have to have these symptoms for at least 2 weeks before you take any action. And how do you know what the symptoms are? Well, the easiest thing is just to go online, and believe me, you will find them easily. I did myself, and this is the process I went through. And if you are suffering from a number of the symptoms that are listed, and it's been going on for 2 weeks, then it's time to go to the doctor, because that's where you have to start. You have to go and get a diagnosis. And so if you need help, then ask someone. Ask someone to go with you, because depression is not something that you should go through alone, or I even feel like you can successfully go through alone. You've got to have help. And so when you do go, and if you do get that diagnosis, or the one you love gets that diagnosis, then I highly encourage you to get a 3-pronged treatment. Get treatment, of course, for the mental problem. Get treatment for the physical problem, because it does affect you physically. But then don't forget to get the help for the spiritual problem. See, depression affects all three. And that's what Living Hope is all about. I try to teach the physical, mental, and spiritual healing truth that the Lord taught me as I went through depression. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm just trying to get the word out again, to give more information, more education, and to encourage you that there is hope for healing. But it does take all three. And God uses doctors and counselors and therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists and medicine and friends. I mean, God uses it all to help us to have healing. So I hope this encourages you today. If you would like to get my book, you can go to candyrice.org and you can order it there. And I'll be happy to ship that to you. And I pray that the year of 2017 is going to be a year of health for you if you are suffering from depression. My name is Candy Rice, and if you would like me to speak at a meeting, a group, a retreat, a church, service that you have, anywhere, I'm willing to come. I love to share my story. I love to tell people what God has done for me and what He wants to do for you. And so just contact me through my website, candyrice.org, and I would be happy to come do that.